What's going on, people? Welcome back to the Sound Design channel. My name is LAR, and today we're going to look at this noise pad that I just played here in this drop. So it'll be this sound in particular. Take the side chain off. Right, so it's this really rich sounding noise pad essentially, and the way that I'm using it in this track is just to add this really high energy on the drop. So I open the sound up quite a lot, which I'm going to dive into. So a lot of what's going on with the sound is in the automation rather than just the sound design. So let's dive into DIVA, and then we'll go into all of that stuff. So I'll just go to the first part of the track. The drop your pants, the first drop, and yeah, we'll just dive in and see what's going on. So the pad is taken from the Tim Engelhardt pack through PML, which I'll link down below, and it's the pad number 5. All right, so let's have a look what's going on with DIVA. So the first place to look would be into the oscillators and see what kind of like voicing we've got going on. So we're using the dual VCO, which is to replicate the Juno series, and we have a sawtooth and a noise oscillator on the first oscillator, and then we have the first VCO, and then on the second VCO we have a triangle wave, and we are actually mostly listening to this triangle wave here because the mix is mostly onto this side, and then the other side is just to add the higher harmonics whenever we want to change throughout the track. So you could just leave it as it is like this. If I bring it over, you hear it becomes a lot brighter and a lot noisier, which is something that I actually do through the track with some automation. So I'll show you that a little bit later. If we move over here now, we have a little bit of feedback going on, which is just going to warm the sound up a little bit. It's not going to be too obvious, but just do a little something. And then we have the filter section here. So the sound is mostly staying open. I do a little bit of automation with the cutoff filter, but it mostly stays quite open, so a lot of the sound is coming through. And we have the 12 dB per octave filter, so if I change this, you'll hear it means it's just allowing more of the sound to come through. So what's going on with the envelopes is the sound is gradually coming in, and then because the decay is quite big, it stays open for quite a while, which then leads into the next chord. So it feels like the sound is just being sustained, but if I hold down the note, it will eventually just die off because there's no sustain to the sound. Because I'm bleeding them into each other with the chords, it keeps this, it maintains the sound essentially, and also with a little bit of the release here, so it doesn't just die off suddenly. What else we've got going on here? There's just a little bit of filter modulation. So we have some FM from the first oscillator, which basically just means a bit of the noise and the sawtooth will come through onto the filter and modulate the filter. And that is it for this section here. We've got a little bit of reverb, not too crazy, quite big size, but it's just adding a little bit of stereo information, but it's really not too large on the reverb. Because this sound is actually quite a bit of a main element, I didn't want it to be too drowned in the track, so I reduced a bit of the reverb in the track in the sound, so it came through a lot more and it was a lot more mono compatible. That is it. The LFOs are actually not doing anything. And the other bit of modulation we've got here is a little bit of resonance modulation, which is just so as we work up the keyboard, so with a bit of key tracking, it will add more resonance, and if we work down, it will take away the resonance. But it's a very subtle amount; it's not doing too much there. So that's pretty much it for the sound. It's nothing too complicated. It's just like a big noise pad essentially with very gradual envelopes. But the stuff that's going on and the way that I'm using it is what I wanted to show you.
Hi, this video is sponsored by us. If you like these tutorials and want to support the channel, check out our website packed with online courses and professional sample packs. Also check our ready-to-use and club-tested DIVA presets. You can browse by the genre and style you're looking for, or get the incredible deal with the full DIVA preset bundle. Thank you for listening, and now let's get back to your tutorial.
So if we look here at some of the automation, so just doing standard stuff like automating the cutoff filter gradually and then bringing it back down and then opening it back up to just like add some energy in certain sections. But then the thing that I'm doing here is automating the OSC mix. So if we listen here, we are mostly listening to the triangle wave, and then as we come to the end of a section, need to play from here. So as I'm bringing this down, essentially that's actually turning this one over. So let's have a look. Which changes the sound quite a bit, adds more noise in there and adds like more energy. So I use that throughout the track in different places just to add more energy and make the sound feel like it's kind of evolving. The other thing that I wanted to show is a little bit of the automation on the EQ. So the sound itself is quite deep. I've got quite a lot of chords in there which are playing quite low in the octave. So at this point in the track, I want the sound to come through fully. I want to be able to hear the full pad. But then I replace the lower notes with a bass, playing the fifths here. So this bass here. So that's replacing the low information in the sound, and then this pad is essentially just playing the high end, so the rich, noisy high end. So I do a little bit of automation, so we just click on this one here, and I'm automating away the low end. So if you listen here, and we listen here, you can hear that a lot of the low information is taken away, so then the bass can come through. The other bit of processing that I'm doing here is just a bit of saturation. So I'll just turn this on and off. It's just adding a lot more harmonics to the sound, makes it feel a little bit dirtier. A little bit of compression just to control it a little bit. And then a utility, which is not doing too much, just adding a little bit of width. And we've got this is just a sidechain unit. So I use this instead of like a shaper box or LFO tool. Or a compressor, just because it has a very aggressive attack, and it gives me like a very heavy sidechain, which is what I want a lot of the time. So yeah, that is pretty much what's going on with the sound. The other little bit of automation that I'm doing is at this point here in the last drop, I am automating the high end of the sound, so it really comes out quite a lot. So I'm just essentially doing an EQ shelf here on this number 4, and then boosting the gain at this point in the track. And I could also bring this mix over. I think I must have forgot to do it at this point. I'll just do that here, and you'll see that it will make quite a bit of a difference. Yeah, cool. So I hope this was insightful and helpful for you guys. Maybe you want to try it in some of your tracks. It definitely adds a lot of energy to the track. I'll just play from the drop again so you get a feel for it. Yeah, cool. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this, guys. If you did, let us know in the comments. Also, leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you want me to cover anything else in this track, then let me know in the comments and I'll try and get around to doing it. All right, thank you very much, guys. Catch you in the next one.